This week's AVA podcast is based on Shorty 72, where we talk about school stories from Japan. Alright, let's get started and let's talk about Japan today.
Alright, let's do it.
Well, I found something quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Read this one thing where this Tokyo-based photographer, his name is Haruhiko Kawaguchi, and what he does is that he takes photos of couples in a vacuum-sealed fashion. So
Vacuum seal fashion.
so you got like two couples. You know how you buy meat in
Right.
yeah, you buy meat.
Okay.
So those vacuum packed, tight, shut tight.
Exactly. It's like those super shut tight. So picture this, you got your partner, yourself, and then you want to do a wedding photo, and you find this guy, and this guy will tell you that, well, I'm doing this flesh love kind of series. So you hug each other, and it's in a vacuum seal plastic. And what it does is that, well, first of all, he'll lube you in, to avoid friction with the plastic,
right.
yeah?
Okay.
So you'll be
Makes
super
sense.
lubed. And then after that, the vacuum sucks out the air, and basically you'll be sealed in an uncomfortable cocoon of love. So if you want to know how it looks like, you have to Google, because the thing is that when the plastic totally seals you in,
You can't breathe, right?
yeah, you can't breathe. And the thing is that you look like you're a packed meat.
Oh gosh,
man.
I have claustrophobic and I can never do this.
Yeah.
You get this feeling like, it's too shut tight to your skin.
Well, you got 10 seconds though. It's like once you're sealed, you have about 10 seconds. Actually, the photographer has about 10 seconds
To get the right photo.
to get the right photo. Then after that, they'll start to like just let the air back in, and then they have to support the people who is being taken with oxygen mask, oxygen tank, and there's
Right.
also a medic to stand by in case things go wrong. But
that-
I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So I assume this is going to be like a very expensive process.
And a very memorable one, you
Yeah,
can never
for sure.
forget. Everyone's just standing by watching you.
I think it is. I think it will be quite an expensive process, because like you have to get a medic over there to
Correct,
stand by.
yeah.
A medic, oxygen tank and everything, just to get the
Probably.
10-second shots.
And those oxygen just don't fall from trees.
Probably you need insurance package or anything.
Yeah.
But would you do it?
For me, maybe not. I find it unnecessary. I don't know. It doesn't seem romantic to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
I mean, have you seen like how people, when their face is like really squeezed into
Right.
a condom, say for
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the face is like totally all stretched out. So if you were to use it for like your wedding photo, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you get all great shots, and then suddenly there's this one shot, you and your other half get vacuum in a packet.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just so
it
weird.
gives the sense of comedy inside your wedding album or something like that.
I will be sitting down there thinking,
But yeah,
why
it's
did they
gonna
do
be-
that?
Yeah, it's gonna be so out of place.
It's gonna be
If
so
you
out of
decide to
place.
do these kind of things, you have to commit. So the rest
Yeah.
of your photo teams will be something very.
Probably the
outstanding.
next shot you pack in a sardine tin or something.
Yeah,
You gotta
maybe.
go by a team rather than just one.
I think
one
if
shot.
I think if the photos were to be played out in a wedding, I think people are just gonna be disgusted more.
Yeah, I would.
It's kind of weird. Maybe it's just art on the other level, but cannibalism is the
You know
same
what?
thing.
You could just Photoshop that, right? And just don't do that. Don't do that exact.
It's
shot.
quite hard to achieve that in Photoshop. But
Yeah, I think if you want to see a similar way of like this thing being done, you go to the dark web. Yeah,
oh man, that's the real deal.
you go to the dark web.
Right.
I remember that there was once I was writing this Shorties about raw feet. It's about like how Anakin and Akira is being stuck on a boat. And,
Yeah,
Right.
and the fact that they got nothing to eat, so Akira trying to
Just resort
follow
to one way.
trying to follow how a One Piece thing is doing. He takes a rock and then Anakin says like, "Where the fuck you get the rock in the middle of nowhere?"
We're on a lifeboat.
Yeah, so he breaks off his feet, and I got curious because we've drawn how Akira's feet is on top of sushi rice, vinegar rice.
Right.
So I got curious. I googled what raw feet looks like.
Oh man, why'd you do that?
Man, it's
Did you regret that choice?
absolutely. I mean, the last image I could recall is like a lot of human feet. I think that's cannibalism. I think it's
there,
probably
there are some countries that does that
I think every
allowed
every country.
There
are no
specific tribes.
There are no countries that allows cannibalism. What are you talking about, man? Where do you come from?
There's this tribe that does it, you know. I don't know where. This Thailand,
Actually,
somewhere around.
Papua New Guinea allows
Papua New Guinea.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
because there's no
This
laws
is
over there. There's no
sick.
police and all that.
Right.
Oh.
So
That's
yeah,
sick, man.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you're right. It's a community, you know.
Yeah.
It's a community
It's a-
where they live in secret and all that.
A side thing, going to dark web. I remember looking at. I didn't go into dark web, but I see pictures of how like not super gruesome pictures, but they pack it the same way. So when I first saw how that person takes photos and the fact that how, okay, let me give you an idea. When the partners or the people in love they do this flash love photography based on this Tokyo-based photographer. They're not smiling. You know, it's hard to smile because their
when
face
you're
is all stretched
squished.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, because once you set that face right, when it's vacuum, then that's it. That's set, and your face is like that, right?
I mean, you even if you try to maintain like a very graceful kind of facial expression, the plastic will just stretch you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much you can't do anything.
Are they naked?
Yeah. One of them is
Oh.
naked. Some of them is actually quite interesting because they are, I think, painted or they wear colorful stuff. So it's shot in a white background. So it's Japanese. Art Japanese is like most of the time minimalistic. So
Right.
it's quite amazing. I would say.
I'm gonna
It's just quite creative.
Google that later.
But you Google raw feet too.
No. So what side of the dark side? What a dark side that you actually been to, Mel? I don't know what's better.
I don't visit those kind of places because I know what to expect. I don't dare to do those.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, you guys may know my pattern nowadays. I like to find crime in Japan because it's so
Crime.
rare. It's so rare.
Crime again.
Yeah, it's like
it's crime Mel's time.
It's a hidden jewel, you know. So recently, there's this crime spree. I can say it's a crime spree happening in Tokyo, specifically in Saitama. So
It's like the purge, huh?
it's a very classic crime to commit. So there has been like around 20 cases of bag snatchers.
Bags.
Yeah. So usually bag snatchers, they will prey on the elderly. So like mostly old
Yeah.
women and all that.
Yeah,
so
can't run,
yeah,
can't chase you.
These are the locations where you walk in a dark alley and someone will just snatch your bags. So there's been 20 cases currently, and the police are still looking for the culprit, and they can't find him. So him or her, don't know what's the gender, but by
Can't
the
find
description,
it.
it's correct.
Can't find
That's
it.
when you can't identify
Maybe a
it.
dog. But yeah, it's a human being. He's a human. Let's just call him a guy.
Alright,
So
the guy.
this guy, he uses a bicycle, and he speed up, and he just snatch your bag, and he don't care where you land. So you will fly. Once he catch you, you will fly.
You can fly.
You can
Believe it.
So there has been like 20 cases, which majority it happens in Saitama, but there's been a few cases where it happens outside of Saitama. So this guy knows his shit. He knows that he's gonna be on the news. Let's like lay low and commit crime somewhere else.
So what they know is that it is on a bicycle. That's it.
Yeah, the guy is on a bicycle and he preys on elderly women.
Okay.
And what strikes me on this crime is because it's an ordinary crime,
Yeah.
but there's like
A twist.
link. There's
Okay.
link to something,
Oh.
which is One Punch Man. You know, this stuff happened in Saitama.
Yeah.
And Saitama happened to be the main character's name in
Right.
One Punch Man.
Okay.
And the criminal is a guy on a bike, which in
Right. The
One
guy
Punch
is on a
Man,
bike.
there's
One
a-
of that
yeah, there's a
character.
superhero called Moomin Rider. So I'm waiting, like I hope like the next day in the news there's like Moomin Rider caught the culprit, this is my turf kind of thing. So the coincidence is too much.
I was kind of wondering. I mean, like, was Saitama as in the hero of One Punch Man? I mean, like, is he really created because the artist who stays in Saitama was inspired with the fact that all these crimes are happening in Saitama? Is it?
Maybe I
is
don't
this how
know,
it
but
goes?
most of the crime, of course, happens in the big city, which is around Tokyo. So you see a lot of crimes happening in Shizuoka, Saitama, all these
Yeah, 'cause I
places.
remember the last time you told me that. There are a lot of crimes that are happening in that place, so I'm trying to see like if there's like a linkage.
Yeah,
to,
maybe,
right?
Maybe.
Probably end up as a cop, trying to solve the mystery. But cops in Japan, they usually cycle from one place to another. I mean, that's how they operate. I mean, there is police car, I guess, but it's not
Right.
for the city center. You probably cycle and just do your job.
Right.
Bicycle is the thing.
It's funny to me where like you see ordinary people like cycling very fast, then they see the cops like on a bike and say, "Hey guys, slow down, man, slow down." It's the cops. Oh shit!
You're entering speed limit.
There's speed limits.
Speed limit for your bicycle.
It's going downhill. It's like, hey man, let's not go all the way
Go
down.
fast, man. Like,
Control your speed, man.
guys, this is only gear 2 area, so nothing above gear 2. Stay
Popo
that way.
police is there. But yeah, that's okay. That's interesting. I'm like, have they come to getting close?
No,
to catching
it's
it?
an ongoing investigation. So I don't know if they're getting close or not, but it happened 20 times.
Wow, that's
it's
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. It happened within a month. 20 cases in a month.
Yeah,
He's hard at work.
Yeah.
I mean, we work 20 days a month.
I mean, dude's got to improve his bicycle, man. I mean, there must be something that he needs from
How much
there,
do you think he earns? I mean, like, if he does it on a daily basis, do you think he earns more than we do?
There's one case, the latest case, where this old lady's bag got snatched and she fell. And they politely written in the article where the woman got snatched and she fell and injured herself. So right, in this context, it's the criminal's fault.
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
didn't even like point that out. They say like this woman's bag got snatched and she fell. Like it's her
It's her
own
fault.
fault.
Ah,
Yeah. So aside from that, in her bag there's around like 50,000 yen.
that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
So
ramen.
that's just one bag. I don't know how many times he robbed people in a day.
So he doesn't rob on the Saturday and Sunday?
I don't think so. With that kind of salary, I don't think so.
You can just use the money for that.
Man, hilarious.
Yeah. This thing about in Japan, like, this kind of case, it seems like the biggest deal compared to any other cases you heard, like murderers and stuff like that. This snatch thief itself is really
I don't
something.
know. I don't know if it's like the biggest deal, but
It seems so, right?
The funny thing is, like, in the comments, after I read the article, the comments were saying, like, hey, there's 20 cases. What are the police doing? We're paying your salary. Please do something. It's so...
yeah.
Damn, man. It's
I
like...
think it's always the frustration that it's like my tax money is going out.
Yeah.
And the more older you get, like the more you realize it.
Yeah.
And then for anything that you pay, you start to pay tax, and then you'll be like wondering why this crime's happening.
Correct. So I guess that only applies in Japan. Outside country, maybe it's like, what? Someone snatch your bags? Like,
Too bad for you.
it's not even 40 cases, man. Let's just
Let's just wipe it off.
Yeah, 40 or 50 cases, then we do something about it.
Right. I think this is like one of good thing for gaijin to know, like a foreigner in Japan. I mean, if you're gonna walk in the dark alley, you gotta watch for your wallet, your purse, your belonging. You wouldn't want that to happen.
It's kind of rare because like you always think about like Japan as like a very safe place,
Yeah,
but now we're sort of like
yeah.
advocating a different thing. So if it really does happen to you, you are really unlucky.
Yeah.
God must really hate you, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's talk about shorties.
Yeah,
man.
let's talk about Shorties. So, this week we're talking about Shorty 72. That's about how not to greet your teacher. So, another one of those things that I would like to say that if you're a gaijin, you gotta see this. I mean, like, that's one of the things that you gotta know.
Here's one thing that fascinated me when I first read about it. It's like the thing is that if you have a teacher on the Western side and you want to maintain a good relationship, you usually go by a casual way. It's not like there's like a teacher and student. It's not like there's a hierarchy or there's a respect. The teachers over the other side will ask you to call them by their name. So even if it's like whether I don't know they are PhD or whatever. You know, sometimes they just call me Dave. You know, it's like everybody in the class can call me Dave, but. On Japan's side, and it's not even the Japan side. It's a lot of parts.
I think it's
Asian
in
countries.
Asia.
And I think what happens is that because you see a lot of uniforms in schools in Asian schools.
Yep.
You see a lot of practices where they sing the national anthem, the school anthem, and all this kind of stuff. The way they have their assembly. I'm starting to think that there's a linkage of why this has happened because there is a lot of occupation done by the Japanese, and they bring those things to the Asian places that they had occupied at the time. So they even built schools at the time.
Yeah.
So hence there was this idea of like, you know,
spreading all around Asia.
yeah, spreading around all Asia, and you know, before start of school, you all gather around and then you all sing song. And this goes the same when you see a teacher, you don't call him by the name, you call him a teacher because if not, you really do get smacked.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does happen.
It's not as casual as like the Western countries where they can call their teachers by their surname and all that.
I think in Japan probably they used to beat their students, but I think now no more. But there are a lot of other parts in Asia that they would definitely do that. The teachers are allowed to put your hands on the students, but I do not know so much in this case of today. But it seems like back then it was so. So never call your teacher by the name, and that's how Shorties was started.
Yeah. Call me sensei.
Yeah.
Yes, call me.
But we're talking about things that are related to this. We're talking about interesting things on school stories.
Yeah.
Interesting school stories in Japan.
Course.
This is how they came about.
Yeah. So I mean, there are a lot of like rules and regulations in school. Like you probably never knew, you know, because you're never in Japan, like studying there probably perhaps. You know, there's a lot of things. I mean, one of the things that I know is that when you go to when you enter school, you have to change your shoes. You know, there's a shoe rack. The moment you enter the school, there's a shoe rack that you actually have to change to school shoe, you know, compared to the shoes that you're walking to school.
By the way, the school shoes is called uwabaki.
Uwabaki.
Uwabaki, yeah. Uwabaki.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
So I like this concept because you know, like you enter an Asian's home, you gotta take off your shoes.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept. Like they practice the same concept where each time you enter a building, as long as you're not outdoors, you have to take off your shoes.
Yeah.
And of course, if the building is so big, you gotta wear something, right? It can't be like just barefoot and just walk around a large building and all that. So they prepare a very, I think, thin material kind of shoe.
It's sort of like those in-house slippers that you take.
Yeah, correct. But it's a shoe. It's a small shoe.
I mean, it's a different kind of rack. Like if we look at the West, when you go to school, the first thing you see is actually your, you know, where you keep your locker for your books. You know, that's the main thing you see. But in Japan, the moment you get into school, the first thing you see is that cubicle locker to actually change your shoes. That's the first most important thing before getting into class.
I like that concept. Like even like aside from shoes, you know, you do like some PE activities. You gotta change your outfit. You know, makes sense. But the thing that is funny to me is the uniform. You know, like by seasons you gotta have different types of uniform, and I find it very, very troublesome. You know, especially for guys or even girls where they need neckties and all that. Man, I just hate neckties, man.
Yeah, but I think they're catering for different seasons, right? Like, you know, probably winter time you're still going to school, you gotta wear something different. Something
of course.
that will keep you warm and all.
Are you saying that you're not open to the idea of uniforms? Is that what I'm getting?
You know, growing up with Asian cultures, we of course wear uniforms and all that. I to be honest, I always don't like my uniform.
All right.
I grew up watching a lot of Western movies where they have self-expression, which is lacking in the Asian culture.
Yeah.
Freedom to wear anything you want, that's great.
Yeah, you just wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Your hair length can be any length you want. You can dye your hair. You know that kind of self-expression, which is not allowed in an Asian culture, especially when you're a teenager. You know that's the period where you grow up.
You know, thinking back, it kind of makes sense a lot because maybe I'm kind of detached away from it. But as a teenager, I'm like, there is so much
restrictions.
There's so much restrictions that doesn't give you the opportunity to express who you are. But being much older now,
Right.
it seems that it's really convenient to.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
It's
if
really
you
convenient
think
to go
about
outside and wear.
convenience sake, it
Yeah,
is. It
yeah,
is
yeah.
like, you don't create. You create order. Yeah, you create order
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Or I'm
It's
just
lost.
I'm
Yeah.
just too lazy to go out for shopping. It's like
Right,
too
just-
expensive to buy stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, just wear the same thing every day. Just
So what are the interesting stuffs
Right.
about school stories in Japan?
Okay, so school has rules you have to
Alright,
obey. Like
mhm.
school regulations. Inside school,
Always.
outside of school. Even like when you're outside of school, you have to wear your uniform properly because you're representing that school.
Yeah,
you cannot
yeah, you
create
can't-
that bad image.
right,
you know?
right,
But
right.
the thing I think there is like starting to open up as in like if you see a boy in school,
Right.
I was outside of school and he's wearing a uniform, and if it's like sleazy, maybe some girls like it. It's like bad
Ah,
boy
it's like a
image.
style to it, yeah.
Right? I tend to see that.
I tend to see a lot of these types of things in anime. Of course,
Yeah.
not in real life because anime they
I mean,
they
they
represent
show the
coolness.
truth, yep.
So they have to portray that.
Now that I think about it, the last time I've been to Japan, I've not seen any guy who's been wearing. I don't see any guy wearing a school uniform.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. Our first day there inside the train, I
They-
saw a few of them going to school.
But here's the thing, from what I knew or found out that they are on break during March. Their school starts on April,
Oh,
so
interesting.
I'm guessing maybe they're on breaks. But regardless on breaks, they actually still goes back to school. Like there's activities to do, and it's just like Japanese. You just never stop what you're doing.
Mm.
Doing one thing, then you're just going all the way to do it.
Like when I saw them inside the train, it's like, not to be racist, but I'm gonna say some racist shit. They all look the same. They all look the same because of their uniform and all that. They are so disciplined.
They have to look
Yeah.
like one.
to the point where nobody's gonna see you, but you still gotta follow the rules.
But don't you think they all carry the same bag? That particular
Yeah,
handbag?
correct.
It's like everyone's holding the same thing. It's so identical.
So you were saying.
Yeah. So one of the funny kind of funny rules that people set for the high school when you're in the school, right? Apparently.